Welcome to the Character Factory, where we take fictional characters and build them in Pathfinder 1e. Today in the factory we'll be making Corvo Attano, the former royal protector from the Dishonored series. For this build we'll have to either be able to sneak around completely unnoticed or decimate anyone in your path, depending on the state you want to leave Dunwall in. Now before getting into this, one of the big things I just couldn't get into the build is choking. Even someone with a constitution of 10 can last for 2 minutes while being choked, all while they're making grapple checks to break out of the grapple and start breathing. Is this realistic? Yes, but it's not good for what we need. Using 20.5 for the build, strength is 12. You're not the strongest guy around, but you can climb around pretty well. Dexterity is 14. Your aim with bow and gun are worthy of the title of Royal Protector, and you can sneak just about anywhere you please. Constitution is 14. You gotta be hardy to be the person with the single most important job in the Empire. You've also gotta be hardy to survive the months of torture after failing the single most important job in the Empire. Intelligence is 16. You're a smart guy, smart enough to eliminate your targets without killing them, and to get back to your boat without ever being spotted, or smart enough to know how to flawlessly kill anyone you see, whichever you prefer. Wisdom is 10. You aren't the best at realizing when people are going to betray you, even when the guy is very clearly evil. And Charisma is 8. You weren't really able to convince the other Isles to help with the plague, or, convince people you were framed for the murder of the one person you were supposed to protect. Corvo, even with the outsider's influence, is human, which grants you a bonus feat, an additional skill rank each level, and a +2 to any one ability score, which will put to intelligence. Our traits will be the combat trait Fencer, to get +1 on attacks of opportunity. You grew up fighting and it shows. Our other trait is the magic trait Focused Mind, which gives you a +2 on concentration checks. You grew up fighting and mostly nothing else, you know how to concentrate. We'll be using Unchained Rogue for this build. If your GM doesn't allow it, or whatever other reason that would prevent you from using it, switch around strength and dex. You're going to have more skill ranks than you really need, but these are the important ones. You scale buildings rather often, so climb. You also do a lot of hardcore parkour, which is acrobatics. It's possible to clear the entire game without ever being spotted, which requires stealth. When you don't want guards to have their guns, notes, or various size pouches, you use sleight of hand. You don't admittedly swim very often, but who knows what kind of loot might be underwater. And finally, spellcraft. It's not entirely in character, so you don't need to dump a rank into it each level, but it will be useful later. Our first level is going to be Unchained Rogue, which gives us finesse training, giving you weapon finesse as a bonus feat so you can start using dex for attack rolls instead of strength. Next is Sneak Attack. Whenever you flank an opponent or attack their flat-footed AC, you get an extra d6 of damage. Last ability this level is Trap Finding, which adds your rogue level to perception checks to find traps and disable device checks. Your first feat is going to be Point Blank Shot, which gives you a +1 on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons against people within 30 feet of you. Your human bonus feat is Precise Shots, which removes the -4 penalty for shooting into melee. Our second level is more Rogue, which gives you Evasion. If you have to make a reflex save for half damage, a successful save means you take no damage. Do some backflips away from grenades and watchtowers and get right back into the fray. Second level of Rogue also gives us a Rogue talent. We'll take the Combat Trick feat, which gives us a bonus feat. Take Dodge for the +1 to AC, because without armor it's pretty low. Third level of Rogue gives us Danger Sense, which gives you a +1 to reflex saves against traps and a +1 dodge bonus to AC against traps. This doesn't stack with the Dodge feat though, but it's still useful. You also get a +1 to perception checks to avoid getting surprised. Your Sneak Attack increases to 2d6. Your Finesse training also improves, allowing you to choose a weapon affected by weapon finesse and apply your dexterity to damage instead of strength. Choose a short sword, as that's the closest we can get to the folding blade. Our feat this level is Spell Focus Conjuration, which increases the DC of all conjuration spells you cast by 1. This is a little odd since you don't cast, or at least you didn't until you got a late night visit. First level wizards choose an Arcane School. We'll choose the Teleport sub-school, which grants us the Shift ability. This allows us to teleport in 5 feet in any direction, and this range increases for every 2 wizard levels you have. The other ability we get from this school is Summoner's Charm, which extends the duration of summon spells equal to half your wizard level. Wizards also get an Arcane Bond, which can either be a familiar or a bonded object. Corvo doesn't have an animal friend, so we're gonna take bonded object. I won't tell you to choose a worn item, but I'd choose a worn item, maybe a ring that can act as your signet ring. We have to take 2 schools to act as our opposition schools. Spells from these schools take 2 extra spell slots to prepare. We'll choose Abjuration and Illusion. Corvo doesn't really have a lot of defenses, and he doesn't do mind tricks. If it looks like he's stabbing you, he's stabbing you. We also get Scribe Scroll as a bonus feat. Nothing spectacular, but if you have the gold and downtime, it could help you save on spell slots. Now for spells. Just a heads up though, I will not be going into great detail about what each of these spells do, as this video will be much longer than necessary if I did. All the spells are available online for free for you to look at, so go ahead and look there if you need more details. Instead, I will name them off and explain why I chose them. Cool? Cool. For cantrips, we have Grasp to help you climb, Flare to act as a sort of howling bolt, and Detect Magic for, the heart, I guess? No real in character reason, it's just a useful spell for spellcasters. For your first level spells, we have Magic Missiles, which acts as your gun in case your GM doesn't have firearms in the setting, and definitely not because I forgot about the gun until about halfway through the build and need some way to add it easily. Summon monsters so you can get some rat friends onto the field, Mage Armor since you can't wear normal people armor as an arcane spellcaster, and, well, look at Corvo, he's still got his fancy nobleman robes on. Sleep to act as your sleep bolts for all you clean-handers out there, and Featherfall, Jump, and Expeditious Retreat to act as the agility enhancement. Takes some time to get those up for sure, but it's good if you already know a fight's coming. Finally, we get an ability score improvement this level. Put it to Dexterity so we can get our sword damage up soon. Nothing special this level other than more spells. For the cantrip, take Read Magic for the same insightful reason as Detect Magic. And for your first level spells, Mirror Strike lets you hit 2 enemies at once for a bit of bloodthirst action, and Speech Reader's Sight, which lets you read lips. And let's be real here, that's the only way you could possibly hear things at a distance just by zooming in with your funky mask. You also get a feat this level, which is going to be Augment Summoning, to give your summoned creatures +4 to Strength and Con, making your rats a little more beefy. Third level wizards get second level spells. Take Summon Monster 2 so you can have more rat buddies, and Gusting Sphere to act as a low level wind blast. At 4th level, shift increases to 10 feet. We get more spells now, and we're going to start with Spontaneous Immolation to act as your incendiary bolts, and Dark Vision because, well, I'm sure I don't need to explain it. For your feet, take Stealthy to sneak better. I would have liked to take this sooner, but we really just needed other things more. At 5th level, we get 3rd level spells. Did you know the spell Time Stop doesn't actually stop time? It just makes you the fastest thing alive for a few seconds. Haste also makes you faster than a lot of things for a few seconds, and it's Ben time. It's Ben time, that's what I'm getting at here. Anyway, we also get Summon Monster 3, so you can summon even more rats. There's other things you can summon, but Corvo only summons rats, so that's what I'm assuming you're summoning. Wizards get bonus feats every 5 levels, either metamagic or item creation. We'll take the Empower Spell feat, making it so any spell that has to roll dice has that number increased by half, for bigger swarms and better magic missiles. Finally, we have another ability score improvement this level. Put the dex to round it off to 16. 6th level, and now your shift increases to 15 feet. There's other 3rd level spells that would be good for us, but we need some other things first, so instead we're going to backtrack a bit. Locate Object is a 2nd level spell, which will help you find quest items and however many runes and bone charms, I mean magic items that you're familiar with that are scattered around. And Blindness Deafness is also a 2nd level spell that can act as a more permanent version of the Howling Bolt. For our feat, take Combat Casting. This lets us be a bit better at using magic and melee, which is something high chaos players do often. We have access to 4th level spells now. First, we're going to take Dimension Door. It's like Shift, but now you can go from the Waterlock to the front door of Dunwall Tower in a snap of your fingers. We're also going to take Summon Monster 4 in case you want more goblin dogs, which are basically rats, or, you know, something else from the 4th level list of monsters you could summon. I'm not your dad, I won't tell anyone if you summon something other than rats. At 8th level, your shift increases to 20 feet, and more excitingly, you get Dimensional Steps, which is what happens when Shift and Dimension Door have a baby. 30 feet per wizard level per day, you can get basically anywhere you want to go in a pretty decent range, no spiritual remedies required. For more 4th level spells, we'll start with Locate Creature, since Corvo always seems to know exactly where his target is at any given point in time. Next we'll take Rope Tornado, which doesn't actually have anything to do with ropes like I thought, and is just a tier 2 Wind Blast. This level's feat is Uncanny Concentration, to make our concentration just a little bit better. We now have 5th level spells, so first take Possession. This is, surprise surprise, for possession, but your body doesn't disappear, so keep that in mind. Next is Echolocation. Not seemingly the most in-character thing, but it gives you blind sight for 40 feet, and it's the closest we can get to Corvo's Dark Vision. Another ability is score improvement. Go ahead and put it to Intelligence so we can start boosting your spell DCs. At 10th level, your shift increases to 25 feet. Now we're going to back up and get some 3rd level spells, getting Deep Slumber for better sleep darts, and Rage for better bloodthirst and overall combat abilities. Just mind the lower AC. Our standard feat this level is going to be Toughness, since it's overall a good feat and it plays well with Vitality. I would like to take this sooner, but we need concentration feats more. Take it sooner if you disagree, doesn't bother me none. Our bonus feat is going to be Silent Spell, since you don't really make any noises while casting, you just kind of clench your fist. 11th level means we get 6th level spells now. Let's start with Decapitate, because it's something you do alarmingly often in combat, and it adds to Bloodthirst. Next is Disintegrate, because it's honestly the closest we can get to Shadow Kill, at least to my knowledge. Besides, it's a good spell, so you aren't missing out. At 12th level, your shift increases to 30 speed, and for spells, we're actually just going to take some 2nd level spells. Specifically, Sense Vitals, which at this level gives you an additional 46 sneak attack dice, which stacks with the additional sneak attack from Rogue. That's 66 with a non-magical short sword, which if you ask me, is pretty good melee option for a wizard. Next spell is the 6th level spell Transformation, which makes you a fighting machine. Catch is, you can't cast spells or use things like wands and scrolls, but I don't think this applies to spell-like abilities, making Shift usable still. You also need a potion of Bull Strength to cast the spell, so you better start buying those. Or you take the feat Brew Potion. I know we haven't taken the spell Bull Strength, but it's a low-level spell, so it should be easy to find a scroll in a shop and copy it to your spellbook. At 7th level, we take Deflection. It's an abjuration spell, which kinda sucks since that's one of our opposition schools, but it's the best I can get for reflexes. Next spell is the 4th level spell, Eyes of the Void, which is this dark vision, but better by letting you see even in magical darkness. Next ability score improvement, put it into Intelligence for higher spell DCs and more skill ranks. At 14th level, your shift increases to 35 feet, and while we could take more 7th level spells, I'll admit I didn't really see any that made me think, yeah, this is good for Corvo, so just go ahead and take whatever you like. Our feat is one we honestly probably should have gotten sooner, Rapid Reload, so you can shoot your hand crossbow rapidly. I'm here to give you the greatest dialogue, and I'd say I'm doing pretty well. 15th level gives us 8th level spells now, and we're going to go for Greater Possession. It works like regular possession, but your body disappears for a duration, so it's more accurate. Last bonus feat of the build, make it Quicken Spell. It's pretty spell slot expensive, but you can get off some pretty nasty combos in a single turn, like Haste followed by Transformation. Level 16, and the last shift increase of the build, which brings us to 45 feet. There aren't really any other spells I know of, so just go ahead and take what you like. Last regular feat of the build we'll take is Arcane Shield for some final reflexes. Are there better feats to take? Probably, but I couldn't find them. Now finally, for level 20, our 17th level of Wizard. 9th level spells. Our first obvious choice is Time Stop. Set up an unstoppable wave of attacks, or move silently through a horde of guards. It doesn't matter, no one will be able to stop you. For your next spell, well, there aren't really a whole lot of in-character options, so take whatever. I'd suggest Wish, but honestly, if Corvo could cast Wish, both of the games would have been a hell of a lot shorter. Now for the last thing in our build, our final ability score improvement. Put it to Intelligence. 21 doesn't really help at all, but who knows? If you do take Wish, you can round it up. And that's the build, folks. Corvo's either ready to save Dunwall or to bring it to ruin. I won't be doing Emily and Dowd in the future because really it's mostly the same except for a few different spell choices, but who knows? If you lurk around, you might find someone else. Let me know what you think of the build down below, and maybe like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more. Or don't. I have no authority over you.